Hey Philip, how's it going? So let's kind of handle this
Hey,
link really quick. If you go to so are you able to see the link right
okay.
here? Yeah, you can just repost, retweet. Yeah,
Yeah, let me just repost like real quick. Yeah.
okay, cool.
I see. Yeah, just a repost and let me share to our media manager. Uh, so he can like distribute from the Trendle side as well.
Cool. All right,
Alright. Okay. Yeah, I think
cool,
we're good
man.
to go.
Cool. Well, thanks for hopping on. I know it was I got my camera turned off today just because of just because I'm not in the most ideal place. But hopefully that's all right. Um, so yeah, thanks for kind of jumping on too as well because I know we were trying to kind of discuss for a long time and we kept having to reschedule, and I think it was several months of rescheduling, which was partially my fault. But
Well,
I'm glad you're on, man, and I'm glad that you kind of decided to to come on today because I think you're building a really cool product, and I
thank
just
you.
wanted to kind of dive into it and discuss a little bit.
Yeah, it's partially my fault as well. Like I've been traveling a lot to like different conferences like Consensus and Denver. So yeah, I decided to take a bit more time offline. But I'm happy that we finally connected. Also, shout out to Deji who actually made an intro uh, to someone from either you or me. I don't remember who, but still like yeah, thanks to him. Yeah, happy to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I think I think it's a really cool product you guys are building, and I'm wondering maybe and shout out to Deji as well. Deji works for Polyfactual, and
Okay,
he's the head of content. So it's really awesome to have him on the team. But
cool.
let's get into it a little bit. So maybe we could start off with some intros, like who are you, what are you building, and just maybe talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Phil. I'm the co-founder of Trendle. Trendle is the attention market platform where you can trade uh, how much people speak about different narratives across the internet. A little bit background of myself. So I'm actually in crypto for through whole my career. I joined in 2017 during this ICO bull rush. I was working actually. It's a interesting story. I was working in the FMCG company as a marketing specialist, and the job was quite boring. And I started browsing different Telegram channels, and somehow, like the first channel I browsed was about the prison. It was called like Seller, and then there was another which was called the Penthouse, and this one was about crypto. And so I knew a little bit about Bitcoin, but not much. But somehow this, yeah, uh, this caught my eye, and then I started exploring more and more, and then I just decided to buy as much of Bitcoin as I could just to get to be more invested. And yeah, ever since like then I landed a biz dev job in the one ICO company, and then I never left crypto ever since. So in 2021 I joined Azura, wore different hats in there, but mostly as an ecosystem lead and onboarding apps to build on top of Azura. And yeah, so that's where actually was my first interaction with prediction markets. And uh, being honest, like the first interaction wasn't really smooth. I discovered Polymarket in 2021, and like honestly, I didn't like it at all. I didn't believe in the concept. I thought like nobody would use these probabilities, percentages to bet on things, because I thought like the odds model is superior. Everybody use odds to bet. It's very simple. Like put one amount and then it shows you like how much it will be multiplied, right? So I thought that this polymarket idea with shares, I never thought it's going to work. However, then working in Azura, I've learned the hard way that actually this model appeared to be superior for specific things like elections and big event games. So to make the long story short, like in 2000, like last year, approximately like 1 year ago, I've I've came to the idea that attention is also an asset which should be traded. Like it all came up together, like elections in 2024, they kind of boosted prediction markets, and this prediction market boost, it also boosted, of course, the polar market itself. And at the same time, what happened is that meme coins kind of experienced their sunset with all these like Trump Melania coins, right? And yeah, that's where I kind of realized that meme coins are kind of like attention trading, but they are not objective, because people who hold the tokens, they can just rug and get away with the money. So that's when I started thinking of how would I create like the objective way to trade attention. And then I started also researching Kaito and different products around Kaito, and like all in all, I came up to the idea that the best would be to combine multiple sources into one attention index. And yeah, in June, we started developing Trendle. Initially, I came up with this idea to the Azure team, but they liked it so much that they suggested that I should do a spin-off project, not doing it inside Azure, do it like the external project with their support. So they did incubate it at Trendle and supported us with all the dev help. And yeah, in November we already launched our closed beta, and now we are gradually increasing the limits and like increasing the leverage, and people can trade attention to the most interesting topics in the internet using Trendle. Yeah, so
Yeah.
a little background of myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cool idea and it's a very cool story. And like, I believe that you previously worked at Azura as well, right? Like you
Yeah,
were part of the company.
yeah, yeah. I've been actually then like a number one hire of Azura, and yeah, I've been leading the ecosystem, onboarding different projects to build on top of Azura. Yeah.
Yeah, and this project specifically also, for like from what I'm looking at, it also got incubated by Manad, or you're building on Manad. Is that correct?
Trendle is built on Monad.
That's so why did you choose Manad as opposed to say one of the more common chains like you see like you have like a lot of other people building on like Solana or Base or Polygon or things like that.
Yeah, first of all, like our team, like our dev team, is the former Azure dev team, and we built on EVM, so we dropped the Solana option straight away, because
Mhm.
just our devs don't know how to build on Solana. Well, they can learn, but that wouldn't make much sense.
Right.
And then we wanted to, like, of course, for us, we needed a fast chain, and we started exploring different chains. We had a few conversations. Like Monad was perfect for us tech wise, and finally, like we had a few calls with the team, and with this impression I had from these calls, I kind of understood that like this team would actually help us the most, and even though the chain itself is not as popular as, let's say, Base or BNB yet, I felt like what would happen is that, like, we will have a cross-chain deposit solution, and also we'll have like the fastest and the like one of the best tech-wise, one of the best chains in the space, with a great and like super professional team that which can also support us in this and other way.
Yeah, plus like I'm assuming you're the only prediction market on that chain right now, or one of the only ones, correct?
One of a few ones, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's yeah. I mean, I think there would be some sort of advantage to, um, kind of like claiming that as your chain, right? Like kind of like what Polymarket did to Polygon a little bit. And there has to be like in the early stages, there has to be some sort of advantage to that. I mean, I'm assuming that have they funded you? Has Manad actually come out and supported you financially or no?
No, no.
Okay.
They did help with some incentives for the traders, but it did it it never went beyond that.
Yeah, because I think it would be cool to like part of like the issue that I thought about when building prediction markets. And again, I've never built a prediction market. I've built like we built like a front end for Polymarket basically. So like a
Okay.
pro trading terminal for Polymarket. But we like building your own prediction market is different because you have to get the necessary liquidity to like kind of fuel these derivatives, right? Um, so I could see the advantage of going into a chain that is like less saturated with prediction markets. Um, when you're kind of working on this, like how have you found that issue? Like, how does your prediction market work? Like, do you have a need for like is liquidity as much of a priority for you as it is for say other prediction markets?
So one thing we actually solved with the model we have is that we do not have a fragmented liquidity, because we use one pool, and the liquidity from this pool is distributed evenly among the markets we have on Trendle. We used to have the same model in Azura. So there is one liquidity pool, and whoever trades is actually like getting their rewards from this liquidity pool. And when they like if they are negative P&L, then the proceeds go back to the liquidity pool. And it's not open yet. Like, the liquidity pool is closed only just for for one wallet. But we're gonna open the liquidity pool, and then some people would be able to take the liquidity side and earn APRs.
Yeah, that's very interesting, I think too. It's like like just the way you're doing it, the way you're setting it up. Because I would imagine when building a prediction market, this would be one of the hardest things. I mean, I'm looking at the site right now, and it's definitely the first of its kind, right? Like I've never seen a prediction market. When I was doing research into your project, I thought like a bunch of interesting questions came up. I've never seen a prediction market that focuses specifically on mindshare like Cato does, which is what you know you kind of used as an analogy. I'm just so I'm curious, like if you're like how do you determine these markets, for instance? Like if you're looking at these markets, I'm seeing like Donald Trump, I'm seeing look maxing, which I think is like a genius market to have right now. I mean,
Yeah,
Jane Street, I think, is interesting. Like this is a really like these are really kind of interesting markets, and there's no. I mean, some of them might be like some of them you can get exposure to on Polymarket. Like I would say on Polymarket, you can get exposure to Donald Trump. I would say look maxing is very hard to get exposure to. This is like a very interesting market. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you determine what goes on here, and what's your process for that?
So actually, we have the whole team who is like a chronicle um, internet social media addicts, including myself as well. And like the whole team is constantly monitoring what's hot in the internet, and we discuss it like well during our daily meetings or on the calls. We just sometimes discuss and share ideas. So I think that's mostly how we came up with the ideas of markets, and that's how we are. We're getting better and better in launching topics very fast. So firstly, it was like around 3-4 days for us to launch if something is uh, big, and now it takes like up to one day for us to come up with a new topic. But yeah, to sum up, yeah, what we're doing is, yeah, we're monitoring the current situation, and we come up with what's hot in the internet, what's viral right now, and what would be interesting for traders to trade. You can look at this like from the like 1 year ago, that would have been a meme coin. Like my favorite example, like there used to be this meme coin, a chill guy. Everybody was talking about this chill guy, all the memes, all the like some comparisons and stuff. And now there's no need to create a meme coin, because now we will measure how much people really speak about this chill guy, or like in today's world, this would be a look maxing. So we measure how much people speak about look maxing, and you can trade whether they will speak more or less. Like maybe look maxing will go in more mainstream than it is now, like more like a crypto niche thing, right?
Interesting. And how do you measure, like, what's your, like, without giving away the secret sauce, how do you measure um if look maxing, like, is getting more mind share or less mind share? Is it similar to Cato and the method that you use?
So what Kate does, they measure just crypto Twitter, which is different from us, because we also measure Reddit and YouTube and Twitter, but the whole Twitter, not just kind of like limited by the crypto accounts. And yeah, a bit of the secret sauce. So how we do it now is we like every other minute we scan for the most popular post, like let's say on average 100 most popular posts, and then we extract the metrics from these posts, and we get like how many likes, how many views, and how many um, comments are on different metrics. Like give this we give these metrics weights, and combining all these with different weights, we receive like in the end we receive this attention index, which is tradable.
Interesting. And like I yeah, I think the other cool thing is, I think, so there's two things that I'm noticing. One is that these markets don't expire like normal markets. So if you go into like poly market, you see an expiration, but because this is about mindshare, you can basically just perpetually trade these. So it is like meme coins a little bit. And then the other thing I'm noticing is, like, you have this boost, which is interesting. I don't know if you want to kind of explain that a little bit. Is that some sort of leverage?
Yes, there is leverage, but getting back to your first question, yeah, the idea of actually some other projects like even Polymarket and Calshay, they try to target this attention, mindshare, and where would mindshare and attention go, but they still do it at this point. They do it with the binary approach, which is not exactly working for this type of markets, and also it still has some end dates, and also it's still like the liquidity will be withdrawn from the market, and then you'll need a new liquidity for this market, so which is also a problem, because you have to like recreate markets again and again. So that's why we came up with this idea of making a perpetual exchange with the attention index as an underlying asset. And of course, like if it is in a perpetual exchange, then we should do the leverage. So for us, it works like this. So it works pretty much as it works on hyperliquid and GMX. So like if you place a bet, place a trade of $10, and with 10x leverage, if it moves 10%, then like up, and you also longed it, then you're yeah, getting plus 100%. And the same if it goes like 10% down, but with 10x leverage, you're getting liquidated.
So basically, it's kind of like the best way to understand this is almost like a perps exchange. That you
Exactly.
are
Yeah.
trading, you have the thing that you're trading against or with, which is look maxing. Or it could be any of these events. And basically, with your approach to kind of measure the value of the mind share, and you're kind of trading against that in the protocol. If is that kind of accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Cool. Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah, and I think it is better that like to your point, like I think the value I see here is like it's almost like meme coins, but they're a little more tied to the actual event that they're representing, right? Like if we go on to Twitter and we see like a coin, there's a couple coins I like, and you tell me if this is kind of matching your vision because I'm very interested in what your end vision is. But
Mm-hmm.
like you go here and you see Neat Coin, right?
Yeah.
Not in employment, education, or trading, and this coin is kind of like it's kind of meant to like underlie the like mass unemployment thing that's happening with AI. But I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're more familiar with this coin, I don't believe it's actually tied to it in any sort of real way. This is like the fundamental thing with your platform, Trendle, is that it is like the coin would be tied to it, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'm not familiar with Neat coin, but I assume that still its price is based on supply and demand, while the the attention index fully depends not on demand but on real world events, um, which are just social metrics.
And is it an actual coin? Is it like an actual token that you get?
No, it is not a token, so it's just an index at this
Okay,
point.
I see. Um, Man, this is such a cool platform. I'm just curious, because all these new data points come out. I'm curious, like what type of data, like what is some interesting data you've been able to glean from Trendle since you've started it? Like, with Polymarket, we see that, Polymarket is fun to trade, but actually like a huge utility of prediction markets is just like it can predict the news, right? It can predict what Zach XBT is going to say, like a couple days later. And I'm curious, like with a platform like Trendle, it operates a little differently. Is there any kind of interesting data points coming out of this that are surprising to you, that that are similar to that?
I would say like mm, I don't have anything specific for you, but I would come from the like long-term visual perspective. Like what I like about Poly Market the most is that, like for me, as someone who is not that much of a gambler, but like even when I was now I used to follow sports a lot some time ago when I was in university, and I used to come to the bookmaker websites just to check the odds. And now like I do the same thing when I want to learn like what are the chances like that some political events happen, right? So I think we all do this now, right? We go to poly market because we know that, so that's where the true probabilities are. And the long-term vision from Trendle is that here you will come and you will see what's actually a hot narrative right now, that like what is like gaining the attention from people right now, and not just based on Google history, right? Like based on like multiple sources. So we do use now just free, but we're gonna expand to more and more. So you will see just like a wide picture of stuff what's happening.
What is your what currently what markets right now are currently the hottest in terms of what you've observed on Trendle? Like, what trends in terms of mindshare are the hottest, and what has lost the most traction in the in like recently?
So as we are now in a closed beta stage and we only let like a few people inside, and these people are mostly crypto people. So I would say like we had a huge amount of trades for a culture market specifically. Like you can scroll down, there's the culture market. So it was actually supported by some culture badge holders and their culture supporters. So it was big for us, even though like attention index is relatively low, but the interest among our community uh, was quite big. Also, like from the most recent ones, so it was pretty much connected with the poly market polls. So we had this ZachXBT and what's this company exposed with the insider trading. So we had a huge volume boost for this market, and of course, like Iran, it was also uh, quite big. What's not like for example Jeffrey Epstein, it used to be very big when we launched it, I think like a month ago, but now the thing just kind of faded away with all this other military stuff going on, and people stopped trading it for some time. Maybe some new updates will come from Jeffrey, and that people will come back to this topic, but now it kind of faded away.
Yeah, I think it's you know what I could see this platform being used for more so than Polymarket is if I were kind of like a someone on Twitter who needed to know like what category to shift to and what topic to discuss, I would probably come to Trendle to be like, okay, yeah, I'm seeing that Jeffrey Epstein is like dropping in in popularity here. So I'm going to shift over to, like Jane Street, which recently got that. Like, I think like from a data analytics perspective, I feel like this could actually yield a lot of very interesting data that other prediction markets can't yield. Is that kind of like
Exactly.
the vision for you? Like, do you kind of see that direction a
Well,
little bit?
one of my goals is that when people like start using Trendle not just to trade but also just to see what's going on in the world. So like before that, some people used to go like to Google to see like some latest news or some like their local uh, search engine to see like what's happening. And now like I foresee that people will go to Trendle to see, okay, Jane Street is happening. What is this? Why am I missing this? What's up with CD Sweeney? Did she do anything cool like Punch Kun? What the hell is that? And so they find out about things on Trendle.
Yeah, and I think like Google Analytics is almost even more like Google Analytics is so generalized, whereas I feel like Trendle, I feel like you can tap into communities a little bit more here. Like you can tap into the perpetually online community a little bit. Whereas with Google Analytics, it's sometimes hard to see through the recommendations to know exactly why it's up there.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah,
I just tried like well I go to Google Trends time to time, but what I see there like look based on the which city you chose, but mostly what I see is like some football match going on at this time, some local event or well, some stuff like this. And sometimes there are also like topics from Trendle. They can also be there, but it's very hard to kind of well, there's there are just too many different things, right? And we want to show like the most important and the most viral stuff.
Um, so one of the questions that I kind of want to ask is a little bit more general on the prediction market space right now. From your side of things, you're building in a chain that I'm not that I'm not as familiar with, Monad. So I'm just curious, like from your perspective, what prediction market projects besides your own are you most interested in right now, or maybe how I should phrase this is like, what trends in prediction markets right now are you most interested in? That could be a project. It could be like a meta that's forming. I'm curious to get your take on that.
Yeah, here I will be very particular. So how I see the card prediction market space is that like this binary, like actually there are binary prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket, and they are funded so well. So I don't see anybody actually uh, interrupt um, their success in there. I think they're gonna take the lead, at least for the Western world, like Europe and US. Um, However, also what they did, they onboarded a lot of people into prediction markets, and now people started to like to predict. And as there are many people who like to predict, I think like 2026 gonna be the year of different prediction markets with different mechanics. So you can see it like with Trendle, we are a perpetual exchange, but what I think is that there will be many more different ideas. For example, like there is the Ventures who build like pre-IPO companies indexes, and you can trade their pre-IPO the pre-IPO valuation. Or like the one I like is Confetti X Joke Race, where you actually can vote for like participate in different polls, and if your vote gets the winner, then you get a part of a prize pool, which I think is also a very interesting approach, which is I think gonna take off 2026. Well, and yeah, there are plenty more. Just can do the name, like can don't do not have names right now, but they are pretty more in this. So I think that's gonna be a year of these different mechanics.
So I don't know if you saw, we had Chad there in the comments saying Trendle's looking good, which
Yes,
is
thank you, Chad. Appreciate.
and yeah, I think it's a really cool platform. I think so. I'm curious. So you said before that you think that the binary options or the binary standard for kind of prediction markets, and I'm assuming that that comes with like the CLOB kind of way of doing things. You think that that's going to continue to be the standard? Do you see more growth happening in the way that you're approaching it, though? Like, do you think that that's going to take, like, I'm curious to kind of get more info from you on what on if you think there is like a hard limitation with this binary way of doing things, and if you think that at some point people are going to be like, oh yeah, you know what, I think we should go to this more perp dex way of doing things instead, and maybe you see more protocols jumping in on that.
Yeah, I see that the binary approach is going to stay because it's very simple and it actually answers the question. But yeah, if the question is yes or no, that solution is perfect. But sometimes it's much more than just yes or no. And I believe that these different indexes will be like the next wave. Actually, Kalshi themselves also they introduced the like trading on expensive watch. prices index. So I see that like different projects targeted from different ways. I think it's still binary, like on culture, but yeah, I just appreciate that there is an interest in these indexes. Yeah, and still, let me finish. Like what I feel about attention, particularly, is that this attention it will take some mind share from this binary outcomes because it just has so much more to offer for those continuous topics on the one hand, and also it will also take a significant part of the meme coins mindshare because it's just so much more objective.
Yeah. So, do you think that meme coins are kind of on their way out? Like, what is your opinion on meme coins? Because because early on last year, when like the prediction market hype was just getting going, there were a lot of people saying prediction markets would replace meme coins, just because there's more narrative. There's more to speculate on. So, in your opinion, where is the meme coin stuff heading in 2026? Are you more bearish on that?
I personally do like meme coins, especially when people form really exciting communities and really great communities around these meme coins. And like my favorite one is the Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic. That then like I think it's like the idea is super smart and 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 yeah, the community is crazy cool, and I really like how they just formed this community around the idea that they should hold the token. However, like in general, I think that this launching meme coin stuff is, I just think like this model kind of is living its last days, and yeah, as as I said, like this Melania, Trump, and then these Argentinian president tokens. I think they've withdrawn so much liquidity, and so many meme coin traders lost their money. So I just think people are generally have a bad sentiment now towards meme coins, and that's going to be kind of like a sunset for the meme coins and the sunrise for the attention markets like Trendle.
I have a couple more questions. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you're probably on a deadline. But one of the questions I have is like the recent Twitter stuff that's been going on, and I'm wondering if this affects you at all. Like Nikita coming out
Yeah,
and kind of regulating, prediction markets more. Putting, I think earlier on he kind of attacked the attention stuff a little bit. So I don't know too much about it, but I'm sure you do. So I'm wondering if if this affects you.
yeah, we do follow this situation. However, I wouldn't say it harmed us in any way. Like what actually happened is that our favorite crypto Twitter became a little bit too overspent with the AI content, right? And Nikita, he probably decided that that's not the best way to develop the social app, and he stopped. Like he removed the API keys from the apps who incentivize posts, right? Which I think is a good thing, like for the Twitter, so people write not based on like, so their incentives are not that transactional, right?
Mm.
Well, what happened is that it was quantity over quality, which is always not great. And now with these limitations, we will probably go back to the quality. However, Trendle itself, like we do not incentivize anyone to write something on Twitter. We do measure what's going on, but we also measure from different socials as well. So our um, either our index is not that much affected by just one social media.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope too that I think like a good feature in the future for Trendle would be, basically sifting through the bullshit, so to speak, like sifting through like, okay, like we know, could someone artificially inflate mindshare for a narrative, because that narrative is like heavily botted, and hopefully like Twitter, for instance, is doing this as well. So I think this problem is trying to be solved across the board, but it's definitely something I think in kind of like the future of how mindshare works. I feel like this is a consideration. I'm wondering if you guys have considered that also, like in terms of like how to sift through like what's really trending and what's kind of inflated.
Yeah, so for us, what works is just different socials, and uh, also we look at the most popular posts. Most likely, if this post is the most popular, it's not inflated. And I believe Twitter is actually like removing posts who when they see artificial like increase of likes and comments.
Yeah, it's really interesting, man. This is a great product. I had
Thank
no
you.
idea about it like a few days ago, and I just because Deji connected us, I looked into it and I researched it. I'm like, this is really cool.
Yeah, did you
I
have it?
guess my
Did you have a chance to trade yourself? I don't
uh,
remember. It's yeah.
I should like. Is there a way I'm able to get in, or is it still in private, or can I get access?
Well, yeah, but you like it is still in a closed beta. However, of course, I will send you the personal invite code so you can test yourself.
That would be great. I would love that. Yeah, I definitely love to test it. Because I think that this is a completely different data set than what Polymarket's offering, which is cool. So in terms of my final question to you is just this: what's next for Trendle? What's like the timeline look like? What's the next kind of phase in terms of where you guys are going?
So in the short term, like the next thing for us would be cross-chain deposits, but that's like more on the product side. Like from the big milestones, I would say that Q2 we expect to go out of the closed beta and open the application for the public, and that would be like the huge step for us. So that's yeah, that's going to be a great challenge. On a long term, though, there are many things on the roadmap which we anticipate, and but like the one further down the line, I actually looking forward to is when we also introduce like a media portal where people will not only uh, come to trade topics, but will also see what's happening when we're gonna have way more markets than we do have now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting to have like a whole content stack built on top of Trendle. Like, if you were just to surface certain articles based off of like trending mindshare categories, for instance, or
Mm-hmm.
surface certain, I think it'd be an interesting way to kind of redefine how content is recommended to people. Um, could be like a good app to actually build on top of you guys. If you have like an API or something like that.
Well, we don't have yet, but that's something we definitely consider doing.
Cool. Philip, it was great having you on, man. Thanks again for
Yeah,
for
thank you,
coming
John.
on.
Yeah, happy that we finally, yeah, had the
Yeah,
time to make this call.
yeah. It was great. It was. I think we got some good stuff out of this too. Some great clips.
Yeah, me, I
So
enjoyed
yeah,
enjoyed a lot.
cool, man. Well, have a good one, and yeah, and let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, and have a great day ahead there. And